First of all, I didn't know I had a Wikipedia page. That was interesting information coming in. I felt like I knew their strengths and what this national team could be. Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to prioritizing what will help me as a coach also. If we take in the first seed, for example, we get Italy. I don't know if that's better or worse than getting Germany, France, or Spain. So like it's going to be tough either way. It's more so we need to find two teams that we can finish above.
It's time again for us to talk a little bit in English, and that has some very cool reasons, because I'm not only welcoming Horst Leitner to this episode today, but I'm also welcoming Jesper Sundberg. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we also got a little bit of a reason why we invited you, and that's the draw for the second round for the Euro qualifier for the women's national team. But before we get into this, I guess, Jesper, not a lot of our listeners know you that good, so maybe you can introduce yourself a little bit, because I also read on your Wikipedia article, which I read before, that you started coaching very early.
Yeah. First of all, I didn't know I had a Wikipedia page. That was interesting information. I was in a position where I had a chance to join the first team in my hometown at a very young age, because my father was part of the club, and I was always connecting with the men's coach at that time, and he didn't really have an assistant coach that could follow him because they started playing European Cups, and he wanted me to start coaching one of the youth teams very early. So that's kind of how it started. And then I was never very talented as a player, and I kind of wanted to stay involved in the game. So I started coaching and doing that since I was 13, I think, with the 9-year-olds, and then kind of built up through the years. And then when I finished high school, the men's team started playing in Europe, and the assistant coach for the men's team was also the head coach for the women's team, so he couldn't go on the international games. So I was joining more as an apprentice role, trying to learn, trying to see, and then just stayed on. And yeah, basically that's the way I've got into the elite coaching and been doing this ever since.
Sounds at least at a young age, exciting thing to go to different countries already and playing at that level or watching games at that level. It's a great experience.
Yeah, it was. The more I look back at it, I think not so much necessarily learning the job through the coaches, but also get at an early level, get the understanding of what the players thought of the coaching and the coaches. Since I was younger than most of the players, and also my friends that had graduated high school also were players in their rookie year. So I got to hear the coaches talk before and during the game and after the game and see their point of view. And then I also got to hear what the players actually were thinking, because they were talking to me as a friend. And then I kind of had to sort those thoughts out and all not get blinded by what we as a coaching staff felt at that time, because I think that was very beneficial to see that it's not always aligned, and to get the different perspective of things.
What's the biggest take you took out of that, in the sense of we had now your captain on the podcast 10 days ago or so, and he said one thing about you that I really liked is that you have a certain kind of approach. Winning is everything in a certain way, so you do everything to win, and that was instilled very fast into the national team. Is it also part of that learning process that you had there, or was it still always there, or what's the difference here?
Maybe, perhaps. I think I've been lucky to be in clubs that's been in a good performance. My hometown team, they've been successful at the time when I was there. We won 2 out of the first 3 years of the league. We played in Europe, been around a lot of winning teams. My hometown team now has won the Swedish Championship 5 years in a row on the men's side. So I have a lot of friends and successful collaborations, let's put it that way. So I don't know if I learned it that way, but it's always been that way, kind of. And it's also, this is why we're doing it. And this is why I wanted to join the Austrian national team, and we're working for a purpose. We're not just there to be there. Like we're gonna try, and then we'll see where it takes us. But yeah, I mean, that's the approach of elite sports to me, you know.
Yeah, we as fans or as followers of our national team, we are super happy because it seems to be a shift on perspective, because when players are excited, that's a good thing normally, and the one thing. But if the results coming at the same time, it's nice to see. And I'm very curious, since that we set it up that we're gonna have an interview with you. I wanted to know, what was your first impression when you came here, because you came here, it was a solid program, but not really winning or winning at all, and now suddenly everybody wants to be your friend because we're winning and we're at the next stage. And I'm interested to see your perspective as coming from the outside, being a successful club coach somewhere else, having that background, and now being in Austria, and something changes. And I would like to know what it is for you, what you experienced, what did you saw?
I mean, I think we have to break it down, and you can give me some follow-up questions later on, but I think I had a good view of where the players was at coming in. I felt like I knew their strengths and what this national team could be from what I've seen them individually, but also as a team in the last 2 qualifying cycles. But one thing is, I don't think that when you're in your home environment, you're not always appreciating what you have, and you don't always see the good side, because the longer you're in something, you start seeing the negative sides. And then once you start seeing them, once you start picking them apart, they become so, they just start growing on you, and it becomes a virus, and you just start seeing them so much clearer than what the positive sides are. And I think that's something that happens everywhere. And to answer your question, I don't think that I necessarily try to come in and look at what we did, what we were doing, how things are working. We had 10 days where the first game is on Wednesday, and we meet up on Sunday. We're going to practice Monday, we're going to practice Tuesday. I'm not really trying to find, okay, this has been doing before. Like, this is what we're going to do now, and this is the approach that we're going to have. This is the amount of time we have. This is the things that we prioritize, and this is the only thing we do. And then all the positive things comes from that. Like, now I see, okay, we have 2 physios, we have the doctor, we have the strength and conditioning coach, we have the support team, we have Leni to take care of everything around the court. Like, for me, I felt like, okay, we're coming into a good structure. Like, we're coming into something positive here, and we have the players motivated. I think everything was good. So I'm not really interested in what's bad, because it will just give me a bad information. It's something I can't work with, and it's something I don't want to work with. So I think from myself coming in, and also Ash Cookson as the assistant coach, we're just happy to be here. We say that all the time, and we don't think that things are bad, or however you want to call it. And that's the mindset that we had. Like, this is what we see, this is what we get to work with, and this is something that we can work with. That's kind of our mindset to it.
For me, it was also quite interesting because we had a talk with Tanja Kuzmanovic after the first window, and she also said to me, like, it was very impressive, like, how you came in. Like, you had talks with every player. You wanted to know some of their suggestions of the game. Was that also something that was straight on your mind, and how can you handle it also with a time point of view? I mean, like, you're a head coach for a normal team, and then for a club team, and then you're also a head coach for a national team, and of course you also need to call those players to get their insights and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to prioritizing what will help me as a coach also. Like, now I'm talking both for the club team and for the national team, that I know that my most important thing is to keep players motivated and keep players happy with their situation and happy in their life. So the more I can do that, the less the better or easier my regular work will be. So I think that's the approach. But I also feel like I've been around players for a long time, both men's and women's players in high level and in low levels, and I think I know what's important to them. And I hear so many stories about national team coaches with bad information, bad communication, like things that players feel. And like I said, trying to get a different perspective on it, not just what I think is right, it's what the players think is right. And it's usually comes down to the communication part. And if I know that that's a major thing for players in general, I try to get those things done first. So the communication, the scheduling, when we're doing what and how we're doing things, like, and to be transparent with those things, so that all the other detail-wise things, basketball-wise, becomes the easy part later. But obviously, yeah, it took time trying to get to know the players, trying to get a conversation with the players. I spoke to all 33 players we had on the list on a phone call. And then after that, when we made the selection, we had a Zoom call like we're doing now with all the selected players. And it comes down to the priorities. Like, I don't want to show up on, like I said, our first game was on Wednesday against Norway at home, and we're going to meet on Sunday. I don't want to show up on Sunday being complete strangers to the ones I'm working with. So I wanted to have a conversation, asking questions about their life, about how they view basketball, etc., and just also get them to see me on a Zoom call, and for me to see their face, just to have, when we meet on Sunday, it's not going to be the first time we see each other. It's going to be a weird situation. It's going to be like we're losing time. And I also know that the biggest thing for us is that we have so little time when we meet. So how can we make that problem that we know is the biggest problem for us, how can we make that as smooth or as little a problem as possible? So if we can start the process before we meet Sunday, then that's something that will benefit us in the long term. And this is also credit to the players, that they take time off of their schedule and their normal club season to prepare for the national team while they're in season outside of the window. And that we can't take for granted, that they're going to give some of their time to get ready ahead of time. And then, yeah, of course, we talked about, this is the way I see basketball. This is how I see your role on the team. This is what we're going to do on Sunday. This is what we're going to do on Monday. These are the things that we need to know before the Norway game. And this is how we're going to do things. And then obviously leave it open for questioning from them as well.
I mean, like, everybody was also talking about the work that Hubert Schmidt was doing, the work from Chris O'Shea. And I also had the opportunity when Austria played Spain in Vienna. I was there doing commentary for La Ola 1. And everyone was talking about learning process and getting better and developing and those kind of words. Now you are coming in. Now you won in the first window all 3 games. In the second window, also 2 wins. In Germany, we always say, like, one guy is coming up und erntet die Früchte. So like some people doing the work first, and now you are getting the opportunity to get the wins. How would you maybe see the work the pre-coaches of you were doing?
I saw a lot of the work Chris was doing. I haven't seen the work that Huber was doing, because that was a little bit prior, and it was a little too far to go in terms of my research to see how things expanded. It was not really necessary for me. I think the issue that this national team has had, in terms of, we talk about development and stuff, is there hasn't been a national team for such a long time. And I guess starting that up, it's hard to say, okay, we're going to win now. So I feel like it's a different positioning. But again, I cannot speak for how things were at that point. I know that the way Chris was playing, I think we play quite similar with some different tweaks. Obviously, I kind of divide it in basketball where the ball is on the floor and basketball where the ball is in the air in terms of passing or dribbling. I think both me and Chris are towards the little bit creating advantage from dribble, which is not always the norm in women's basketball. So I think that's quite similar. But in terms of the approach, I don't know what the circumstances was, how things were. I cannot speak for that. Obviously, you mentioned Spain. I mean, if we're playing Spain, maybe we have a different approach. Like it's a great basketball nation, but I think from my end, I just told the players why. Because one thing that I started thinking about when I had the player calls was I felt like I had too many questions from the players of why did you want the job? And like I said, from my end, it was I'm the one who's happy to be part of this, not that you're happy to have me. Like, this is the mindset. Like, I'm the one who's proud and happy to represent Austria as a Swedish coach to get this opportunity to work on this level, not the other way around. And this is where I was like, this doesn't work for me. So in the first meeting I had, I told him, like, this is why I wanted the job. So I feel like, and I told him right away that my view of this team is it's very misinterpreted. Like, it's the players sitting in this room is not 82 on the world ranking. Like, it's because of not having a national team in the past. And we cannot start looking at us as the 82nd team in the world ranking. Like, that's not where we are. And I don't care if other people thinks that. Like, my view coming in, and the reason why I wanted the job is because I think that this is a group where we can compete in terms of Switzerland, GB, and Norway. I was like, those are teams that we can compete with. And I think it's a good timing for me as a coach to join this program now because of this group and also where the players were at. Like, I told them that we have a group of high-level players that is misinterpreted because of the past history, but also getting to play, like you said, against Spain. It makes a lot of nations look bad if you play against Spain because they're so good. And also that most of the players that has been there for a while is in a great time in their career to compete. There are a lot of players that are close to their peak, if not on their peak right now, age-wise and basketball-wise. So for me, it was a great time to join this program and to also tell them that I think that we can compete against the nations that we're going to play against with what we have now. We just need to believe that we can do it. And I think they needed to hear that because for them, maybe they didn't think that that's what they were there for. And that's what I saw. And I saw also some tweaks basketball-wise that I think can make us more productive. But in general, it's just me saying, okay, I'm happy to be here to join you guys, not the opposite. And I believe that we can do something here. And that's why I wanted this job.
For us as fans, it's also interesting because also all of the conversations we had in the last few weeks. What's in your perspective? I mean, it's always difficult as a coach to name players in certain ways, but which of the players you would say we need to take a look at and closer because you see a real big upside that they're going to be a big future of the Austrian basketball in that situation? What's the one where you say, okay, I was really surprised. I really like the bright future I can see for that players. Is there anyone that came to your mind, or is it collectively the same? Or
sorry, for that you mean right now after the games or before we got into the?
No, after you got now the first experience where you would say, okay, I think we should really keep an eye on it. She's gonna have a big career, or something where you could say, not somebody who is established already, but where you can see, okay, the upside is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easy answer is Sina Höller. Like, I knew that she was good. I knew that she was going to be a key player, but I didn't think that she was going to take the ball against GB in the last minute and wave off the defense and play iso ball and knock down a three. I didn't think that. I'm impressed with her mentality and the mindset of wanting to do it, because it's different to be able to do it, but also to want to do it. So that's the probably the one where okay, this was different than I expected, even though I expected good things from her. And then the other one would be Laura Meyer. Obviously, super young, playing in the first league in Hungary and doing a great job coming in to back up Siggy. And yeah, I think she would do it phenomenal.
I mean, it would be also quite interesting. I mean, like in the Austrian league, like we have the two powerhouses with the Duchess from Klosterneuburg and also with Ubi Graz. This is always like the big part of the squad from what I read. And it also feels a little bit like in football. Like in Germany, we always say we have the Bayern block, so a lot of Bayern Munich players. Is this also a good point for you to have a lot of players who are playing together in the club as well?
Honestly, I have not reflected on it that way. Obviously, the more they know each other, the better. That goes with anything. But I have not reflected on it at all. Like, obviously, like you said, a lot of players do represent those two clubs, but I'm just looking at, okay, who fits into the style we're trying to play offensively and defensively, who are the best players right here, right now. And it happens to be that right now, a lot of players came from those two clubs that you mentioned. And yeah, there's probably positive sides from that Siggy finds Sina in good situations where she knows she wants the ball, but it's not something that we were actively looking for, no.
I got the next question from my side would be, now you got Latvia, Slovenia, and Italy as the next opponent. So really small countries with no names. Everybody expects 6-0. No, but I think from my perspective, it's very attractive opponent, really tough for sure, but also a big chance to grow for all the players. What's your approach? What's your take on them?
Yeah, I think you're right with that. I think it's a chance for us to grow and take the next step. Obviously, now, like I said, the draw was just concluded, so I haven't really had a chance to get a more in-depth look of what their philosophy looks like. I know their players, I know the coaches, so I just don't know how that would match with us. But if we take in the first seed, for example, we get Italy, I don't know if that's better or worse than getting Germany, France, or Spain. So like, it's going to be tough either way. I think this is a very competitive group, knowing that Latvia went 5-1 and beat Slovenia by 20 plus in the last qualifier, and they come in as a third seed. So it's definitely a tough draw. I don't know if any other draw would have been easier. So we know that we have a long way to go, and I don't see this as a bad opportunity. I see this as a great opportunity to play against teams that, okay, let's see if we can continue doing good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's better than being frightened of Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, and San Marino.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at right after this draw, it was the draw for the pre-qualifiers for 2029, and I would not have wanted to be in that draw, let's put it that way.
It would be also interesting, like you could have drawn Great Britain again, from what I know, right?
Yeah, there was no limitation. So obviously Slovenia and Latvia, they played each other in the last qualifiers. So Great Britain could have been one of the two seats that we would have ended up with. And yeah, I mean, obviously there's pros and cons with that as well. We would have had a team that we have facts that we can play with. And that's also a team that knows our strengths more than the other teams. So
the one thing is now, Marius, Roy can make up for all his Netherlands stuff. He's going to provide all the information. He's an analytic monster. I'm pretty sure he's going to be helping this time Austria and not working against us like in the past.
No, we hope so. We hope so. We appreciate the help.
Yeah.
I guess
if not, I'm going to let it pay over for it.
Jesper and Roy will already connect for all of that. I mean, like Jesper, from what I read, you also have experience in playing in the Euros. So is this also a little bit like, sharing this experience with your players on how it can be on playing in a Euro tournament?
I mean, we have so little time, so I doubt that we're gonna talk about it unless it's we're there. Now it's gonna be okay. How do we approach another qualifiers and going up against bigger nations again and keep the focus there. Like, okay, what do we know about Italy, for example? What's it going to be like to play against them in Italy and in Austria? Like, I think those are more interesting for us. But obviously, if we would make it out of the group one more time, then that's maybe something that would be beneficial then.
And I guess it would bring back another very big episode for all of us in doing another episode for the women's national team. But of course, you will now analyze every opponent. But is there like one team that you really will focus on because you think this team will be the favorite in the group?
Well, I think it's the opposite of what you just said. I think it's going to be if I have one that's, I think is definitely the favorite, which on first look would be Italy, just by the world ranking and the scores, and them finishing third in the Eurobasket 25. But it's more so we need to find two teams that we can finish above, where we don't need to find three teams, and we don't need to look to beat the first team once. We need to look to beat the two and the three for 3 or 4 games. That's kind of where we need to be. But that's the fun thing about this group. I don't think that any team will go undefeated. I think that Latvia and Slovenia showed that, and I think they and us will put up a fight with Italy. So I think it's a cool group that way. It's not that in other groups maybe there will be 6-0 for one team. I don't think it's going to be that in this group, just looking at it the first way here.
But Horst, also from my perspective, a very cool approach, saying like looking that we finish above 2 other teams.
Yeah, what else he should say if he wants to be taken serious? That's the reason why he's different than the Austrian approach. I think what you said at the beginning is the biggest advantage, but it has less to do with you being from Sweden. I think it's also your personal approach. What I can hear out of it is that you don't look on the things that's negative, that you try to think on the things that you need to do to get where you want to be. And I think that's a little bit different than the Austrian way. The Austrians have even their own verbs for that behavior, that Ranzen and all that, complaining and seeing the negative thing. There's a cultural thing in the coffee history of Austria that everybody complains about everything. And I think that's one of our issues in sports, that instead focusing what we could achieve, we easily drop into that complaining about everything. And I think that's what you said already before. It's different with you. I think the players appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I don't think that it's necessarily me. I just like to have a positive approach of life and the things I do. And I try to stay with the things I like and do things that makes me happy in life and every day. And basketball is one of those things. But I think this same problem goes in Sweden and in basically all the clubs. It's just when you have people in the same position for too long, it does become harder to do things and hard to be innovative. And you find a way that you're doing things, and at some point that just gets outdated, and then you try to hold on to for too long. And I don't think it's necessarily my approach coming in to Austria that's different. I just think that the players needed to hear something else, and I was just lucky to be the one that got the opportunity to do it.
I had, like I said, the talk with Tanya, and then also me and Horst, we had the talk with Anya, and everyone was like really happy with how you came in. Like you said, you're lucky that you are the guy who came in and did those good approaches. But in the end, also chapeau to the Austrian basketball board that they chose you, because like from what I heard from everyone, you seem to be the right guy, and from what we saw now, you did a very good job. That's what I want to mention.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think it fit very, very well. I mean, when I saw the post that Chris was not going to continue coaching, I reached out to Aldin, General Secretary, and I think I was quite well prepared to have the meeting. And like I said, I do know the players from before, not on a personal level, but basketball wise. And I told him what I saw, and I've been clear with the players also what I saw and what I think the potential was. And I think from my talks with Aldin afterwards that they liked my approach and the preparation, that they did get a coach that is not necessarily involved in Austrian basketball from the before, has a different perspective, but also knows the players. So I think that was just good timing for myself, that this opportunity opened up. And I think, like I said, just knowing the players and being prepared, I think that was the reason why I got the chance to do it.
Yeah, I was also remembering like one Instagram photo from you and Alexia Alish, I think it was, because she's playing now at MBC. And
Anna Alborova as well.
Yeah, so that's also, I guess, a cool thing, like when you meet up on the club level.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most fun, but obviously they're very good players and they're hard to defend and score on. So that's a different story, but it's always nice to see them.
And it was very nice when I look on the clock, and then we have like 30 minutes to have you here, Jesper. Thank you for coming here at Korbgeflüster and telling us a little bit about your approach and your career, and also the Austrian national team. We also talked a little bit about the draw, and we are very pleased that you joined us. I hope that you will come again if we have another big episode and you guys maybe finish another window 3-0. We drücken die Daumen, like we say in Germany. And like the last words belong, of course, to you two guys. First Horst, and then Jesper, you, of course, you will have the final words. But what I can say, if you like such episodes, of course, you can leave us a free subscription, and you can leave us a like if you want. And then we can invite Jesper probably again, because you guys show the love for this episode. Now you guys are up.
I think that's a good call. Commentate on it, everybody. Let us know what you want to ask Jesper in the future. And then I would say we bring you back and we answer questions. That would be fun as hell.
Yeah, I mean, from my end, I enjoy doing this, enjoy talking basketball, and really enjoy talking Austrian basketball. So anytime you guys want to talk, let me know.